Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess if you're new here, and if you are not, then welcome back. I'm so happy to see you again. I am going to do a video today about Emirates since my last Emirates video really got a lot of traction and attention and people seemed to just be very interested in that topic. So I want to talk today a little bit about life after Emirates because I don't see a lot of videos about that, and obviously that's a topic. I mean, life after Emirates, life after you leave aviation can be confusing, it can be scary. So I want to talk about my experience, and if anyone is in the same boat, if anyone feels sad or hopeless or lost or confused about what to do with their life after leaving Emirates, that's why I'm here, to give you my personal journey story and my perspective and just my advice. There's like two different types of people after you leave Emirates. There's the people on this end of the spectrum that are super happy, they are ecstatic, they're living their dream life, they're so happy they left, you know. And then there's people on this side of the spectrum where they are completely in denial. They are so sad and they feel hopeless, depressed, they want to go back to Emirates. I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook, WhatsApp group chats, where it's like ex-Emirates crew, and there's so many people who are really sad and really feeling down because they want to go back to the company. They feel regretful that they left, they feel lost, hopeless. It can be a bit confusing after you leave Emirates. It's almost again like you're graduating college or high school and you're thrown out into the world and you're like, okay, what do I do now? Except this time you are an adult, like maybe in your late 20s, 30s, even 40s. I don't know when you left or resigned, but if you don't have a solid backup plan, or if things don't turn out the way that you thought they would, it can be very disheartening. So I do want to talk about that because that is kind of how I felt for a hot second after I left. I think the first stage that I went through was delusion and denial. So when I say delusion and denial, like I said, I was a little bit delusional about how easy it would be for me to quickly change my path or quickly pivot. I thought I could just immediately start a new life without proper planning and execution. I thought I could just okay, leave Emirates and I'm gonna overnight become a business owner, or overnight I'm gonna get like a remote job that I want, or my dream job. And that's just not how it happens. Like, that was not realistic for me. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not how things played out for me. And I was definitely in denial a little bit. So I was feeling a little bit regretful after I left. Like, initially I was super excited and happy because I felt like the world was full of all these opportunities for me that were just gonna be handed to me on a silver platter. And I got a little bit of a reality check, like if I want to work in this specific field, or if I wanted to have a business or wanted to have a remote job, if I want to work in marketing, like people have worked years and years to build up experience for this. It was like starting over from the bottom after I'd already lived this life with Emirates of luxury and leisure and travel and good salary. Suddenly I was like back at the bottom. The second stage that I went through was this regret, confusion, and identity loss. So I think with Emirates, and even if you're a flight attendant, I feel like your whole identity is being a flight attendant. Maybe that's not for everyone, but for me, I associated a large part of myself and my identity with flying. That was just what I did. When I just did decide that I wanted to change my life, and suddenly I decided, okay, I want to use my business degree, I want to start a business, I want to be a businesswoman, I want to work in marketing, I want to work in fashion. When I decided to change my identity, and it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, suddenly I was so regretful and confused and just felt like this loss of identity because I didn't know who I was at that moment. All of 2022 and 2023, I felt so confused about who I should be or who I wanted to be. And because not that I didn't know who I wanted to be, it's different actually. You know, I did know who I wanted to be, but I didn't know how to get there, or I was very impatient to get there. I wanted to go from 0 to 100 immediately. I wanted success and everything immediately. And I was not understanding that takes time and effort to create a life like that. So I think I just went through this loss of identity because I was this Emirates girl traveling, you know, staying in amazing, beautiful hotels. I had my apartment taken care of, transportation. I lived in Dubai. Everything was like, you know, super easy. Life was on easy mode. And then suddenly I was in the workforce. Suddenly I had to work in an office. Suddenly I was like not enjoying life because I wasn't where I wanted to be. I also had a brief experience where I was thinking to go back into flying. So I was researching private aviation companies that I could work for, whether that was like VistaJet or Royal Jet. VistaJet I couldn't work for because I'm not European or American. And then I also had a brief moment where I was interviewing with Etihad because I was just so sad about like leaving the aviation industry that I thought I wanted to go back at any cost. I thought to myself, no, I left flying for a reason, so I'm not gonna go backwards again into flying, even though that feels comfortable and that's what I know and I could have the lifestyle back. It just wouldn't make sense for me. So I would have rather started at the bottom in a marketing company or agency, or the career that I actually saw myself in like 10 years from now or something. I mean, I might want to be a housewife and get married or start a business or focus on, I don't know, being an influencer or something. But I always wanted to have the option. Also, I want to look back on my life and say, okay, I tried that, I did that. Yeah, that's kind of why I chose that path. Also, it's rewarding for me. It just feels good to know that I accomplished something that little me would always dream of accomplishing. So if there's more doors open to me, if I can give myself more options and opportunities in this world, then that's what I'm going to do. So I would say the next stage was like rebuilding, this like rebuilding stage. Obviously I was in this new phase of my life where I felt like I was suddenly thrown back to my after university graduation, where it was like, okay, now you have to find a job, you're being thrown into the workforce, except now I was a few years older, and after uni, all of my peers were already in their careers, like further up in their careers, and now I was like going backwards, like taking 10 steps backwards, starting from the bottom. So I would say the next phase was like that rebuilding phase and just trying to reestablish myself and understand what exactly I wanted to do, because when I left Emirates, I initially thought I wanted to go into real estate, which, I mean, I thought I was gonna love it and it just wasn't for me. When I did not like it, it was almost like, okay, we're back to the drawing board. What do I wanna do? What are my skills? What are my talents? What are my interests? Now I have like my marketing job that I actually was manifesting for myself, but it took me a couple years to get to this point that I'm at today. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, this phase was definitely rebuilding, reestablishing from the ground up, and also trying to figure out what I liked, like what industry did I want to go into? Because when I went into real estate and I hated it, I was like, okay, what now? Like, what exactly should I be doing? And it's hard, right? No one is really telling you what to do. You're just out here, as we all are, trying to figure it out, trying to understand what's working for you. The next stage, I would say, would be learning and growth. That would be all of 2023 for me. That year was all about learning and growth because I was finally working in a marketing agency. Like I said, I was working in the office, so it wasn't my dream ideal situation. I absolutely hate having to commute to the office every day, but I felt like I should or had to make that sacrifice of giving up instant gratification for something that I really wanted in the long term, which was this potential career in marketing. I would say that year, like 2023, was really my growth kind of phase, like learning and growth. And truly, I learned so much. Like, I'm so thankful for that opportunity to work in a marketing agency because I worked with some amazing clients in the F&B industry here in Dubai. So that really took me out of my shell. Like, not that I was shy or anything, not that I was even in a shell, but honestly, it just kind of expanded my knowledge, I would say, in a new industry. The next stage was when I started freelancing, and I actually left the agency to become a freelancer, and I moved to Milan, to Italy. And I was so happy about this because this was one of the reasons I felt like I wanted to leave Emirates, was because with Emirates, obviously you're not like you're stuck in Dubai. You're tied down to Dubai because you of course have to live in Dubai to work for Emirates, right? So when I left Emirates, that was one of my main factors that I told myself was, okay, if I ever want to work in fashion or any sort of like business oriented career in marketing or fashion or whatever, or if I want to just work and live in Europe, I now have the opportunity to do that because I'm not tied down to Emirates. I don't need to stay in Dubai. I can move to Europe if I want to, right? So when I had that opportunity after I got my work experience a little bit and I started to have the confidence and ability to get my own clients and start freelancing, I was so excited to move to Europe, and Italy always called to me. I've always wanted to live like that La Dolce Vita lifestyle. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, my life in Italy, I just did another video on that. So that's on my channel, you can go check it out. So that year in Italy was so amazing and beautiful and transformative for me because I was able to do something that I'd always dreamed of, live abroad in another country, live in Europe, while freelancing, while working completely for myself. So I felt a little bit closer to a dream that I'd always wanted to do, which was be an entrepreneur, be a freelancer, work remotely, live abroad. So I'm so thankful for that experience, and that phase was honestly difficult, but a beautiful experience for me. So I'm super thankful for that. The last stage of this kind of timeline of mine would be the career growth, career breakthrough, which I'm now feeling like I'm in. I'm working with bigger clients than I've ever worked with. I have clients in J1 Beach, which is one of the most popular areas right now in Dubai. And I feel very experienced. I feel very thankful that I was able to grow in my career, that I work completely remotely now. I'm in my own apartment, I'm back in Dubai. So I'm really feeling like I've made a lot of progress and had a lot of breakthrough with all of the efforts that I've been making in the past 3 years since I've left Emirates. Everything that I've wanted for myself, I've almost manifested. Not everything, but it's interesting because I once told myself like, okay, I want to work remotely for a marketing company or for a brand or for an agency. And I just had no idea how to make that happen. Like all of 2022 and 2023, I was really trying to make that happen. And I just didn't know how to do it. And now that I'm finally sitting here living my manifestations or my dreams or whatever, I'm feeling so happy because, you know, once you hit like a certain goalpost, you understand, okay, that's actually possible. It might not happen immediately, but it happens eventually. As long as you are putting in the action and the effort with aligned action, almost anything can happen. I think if I were to go back in time and do something differently, or if I could give someone some advice, I would say always have like a plan A, B, and C in place. Like have a solid plan B for when you choose to leave Emirates or choose to leave any job, by the way. It doesn't have to just be Emirates, but for when you choose to make a big decision or change in your life, I think you should always have a solid backup plan or something in place that you can fall back on. Because for me, I would say what's that saying? I didn't look before I leaped. I didn't really take a calculated risk. I kind of just took a risk and jumped. And I think with any risk that you take in life or any change that you take in life, you should always have your options weighed. It should always be a calculated risk. For future reference, I'm not gonna do that again because I feel like I kind of struggled a little bit when I really didn't have to. I could have stayed in Emirates and maybe done some other work on the side until I got my dream job or started a business while I was still working for Emirates. So I think there are better ways to do it, definitely. I was overly eager, overly delusional, overly excited. So that's why I kind of took that chance and just leaped before I looked, let's say. Understand that if you're trying to change industries, research that industry prior. Start doing work on the side of your current job prior to just quitting your job and trying to jump into that new industry. Like, do some part-time work, have a good savings account, have someone that you can rely on to fall back on, whether that's your family or you're getting married or you have like a partner, whatever that may be. Just don't feel like you have to do it immediately. Don't feel like you have to do it alone. Don't feel like you have to take these crazy risks without taking the proper precautions. So that would be like my word of advice. If anyone's watching this and you are planning to leave Emirates, or you've already left Emirates, or you've been out of the company for years and you're just yearning to go back or something, or you feel like you've not found your path yet, I think it's important to understand that things take time, but with aligned action, you can always get to another place in your life. And the world is full of opportunities. Like, there's so much abundance in the world, and you have so many other skills that you can do. Of course, being a flight attendant is amazing. That was my dream at one point. That was such a beautiful, amazing chapter of my life. But if you choose to leave it, or if you're in another industry and you want to change your career or leave a situation, my point is there's so many other opportunities for you. You just have to be able to prepare yourself for them, like prepare yourself for those opportunities. Things don't happen overnight, but that doesn't mean that they're not happening. Like, if something's not happening immediately, it doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. It's just taking time maybe. So for me, like I said, it took me almost 3 years since I resigned from Emirates to feel like I'm in the place that I wanted to actually be in. And I'm still not at the end goal. Like, I still have so many other things that I want to do and accomplish, but I'm finally feeling satisfied and a little bit like, okay, I'm happy with where I'm at. There are a lot of people that I've seen that have left Emirates that feel sad or regretful or hopeless, because as I mentioned, like, I'm in a lot of group chats on Facebook or WhatsApp and stuff with Emirates, like ex-Emirates crew that want to go back to the company, and they feel that they made like the biggest mistake of their life by leaving. But it's not a mistake, you know, everything happens for a reason. And I think instead of looking back with nostalgia or like rose-colored glasses, you need to understand also why you left. You left because you wanted something different or something more, right? And we only have one life. So I think if you were to stay maybe in Emirates and you were always wondering what if, that would be worse. If at the end of your life you only did that one thing and you're left wondering, what if I left and I could have started that business, or I could have became that whatever career it is that you're dreaming of, or I could have lived in this country, or I could have done this or that. Like, you're always going to have regret if you're looking back with rose-colored glasses. Look back and understand, try to remind yourself the reasons of why you left in the first place. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you can take some advice. Hopefully, you know, if you're feeling bad or sad or anything like that, or confused, then hopefully this story can help you a little bit. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and if you want to know more about Emirates, if you want me to make another video, I am more than happy to. So I will see you guys in my next video. Make sure to subscribe, please, and yeah, bye.